Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of All the Mod 6. I hope everyone is doing great today. As always, I know that I am. So we're hopping right back into our game save. Haven't done anything since the last episode. Well, within reason. We haven't done too much since the last episode. We haven't had a stream or anything like that between recordings here. So nothing really massive to catch you guys up on. But there is one thing that I'm going to show you real quick. Now, last episode was definitely caught me off guard because I was not expecting to take on a dragon, and I have a whole laundry list of things that I want to get done, things I want to show you guys and get to here in our series. So it kind of bumped us back a little bit, but that item of fighting a dragon was on the list. So hey, I guess in retrospect, it did cross one thing off, but maybe not in the order that I wanted to. Anywho, so the one thing I did do off camera over here is I ended up getting our area for food production up and going. I have mentioned this many times that this is one of the next things on the list is to get this going. But on top of that, we have like a mixed bag of things that I want to do today. Kind of just a jumbled up episode here of miscellaneous things that I have noticed that I want to do, I want to get put in place, that don't really fit into an overarching theme of an episode, other than just being just a task episode almost, in a sense. So, but yeah, this is the building that we got up and going for our food production, which is really nice. I think it turned out good. There's obviously a few cosmetic touches I'm going to add to it, like lanterns and things like that. But overall, I do like the design, how it came out. Uses obviously same materials as our main base, just trying to keep within the same design-ish pattern with the materials, just to have that flow of the buildings here. So I think it looks really nice. It has some different architecture than this one. As you can see, this one has a little bit more of these kind of like pillars and things to it, where this one is a little bit more open and flowy, I guess you could say. I don't know. I like it, and I think it's a great addition. I can't wait to get moved in and get going into some of the things that we want to have food production going with. But anyway, like I said, this is a mixed bag episode, so I hope you guys are ready to knock off a couple things on our list here. First and foremost, mystical agriculture. Now, this is actually something I did off camera as well, so another thing that I forgot to mention, which is I went ahead and I got set up a farm for us to grow Inferium essence from. Now, we talked in our mystical agriculture episode, there are a gajillion ways to get Inferium essence, and if you need it quick and you need a lot of it, your best bet is to have a fortune tool and go mining for it. Especially in the end, you can find a ton of it. But that is not what we're going for here. This is more for longevity and just passive production of Inferium essence, so we can build up a good accumulation of Supremium and then Inferium obviously as well. I think it's Inferium. I don't recall what it is, but it's the next tier above Supremium. So this is very basic. We already had this farm here from when we started into mystical agriculture. So all I did was went ahead and made some of the seeds for it. So if we go to mystical and Inferium, the seeds are actually really easy to get up and going. All you got to do is take some wheat seeds or surround it with Inferium essence. So pretty straightforward. And then I did make all of these blocks infused with Inferium essence so they have better productivity as well. And each one of these is an Inferium essence seed, which is really nice. Now, we do have two machines here. One machine here is our harvester, and this does require power. As you can see right back here, we do have a ender gate to it, right? Yeah, ender gate from Powa. And I have it set to the dimensions that I want. You have different dimensions you can pick. You can use the preview to view what you are then harvesting. It harvests at the level of the block. So keep that in mind. You're more than likely going to want it on the same exact level as your farm, like so. But pretty much all this does is it harvests the crops once they're ready. However, it does not pick them up. It drops everything that it harvests. That's where the second machine over here comes into play. This is our item collector. Now, we did use an item collector over with our bees, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but it does have a preview. So just keep in mind that you can utilize this to see what range you are picking up in. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, now diving into what we actually want to do today as our task, I should say. So down here in our basement area, our little access area, I guess you could say, I have cleaned it up a whole heck of a lot. I think it looks very, very nice down here now. But we also have created this room underneath our farm here, underneath our Inferium farmland setup. Now, as you can see, I already have jerry-rigged a setup in preparation for what I want to do today as one of the items. So we'll get that in just a second. But this offers us more capability to add in more of these growth accelerators very easily, and then switch them out if we go up higher tiers. Now, the other thing that I did do is from the collector up there, I have it buffer into a barrel here. And then this barrel is actually then looped down under and tied into our refined storage network. So everything that is being collected then, if I go into our storage here, will show up just like so. So we have a bunch of Inferium seeds, which is what you can get from these crops, along with the essence itself. However, if you guys do recall, we have that automated to run through a process to make it into Supremium, which is, we have already 5 pieces of it, which I don't think is bad. And then we do have this creative one from the dragon in the last episode. If you didn't see the last episode, highly recommend checking it out. But anyway, so what are we then using all of this elemental craft stuff for? Well, there is a shrine that we can actually get up and going that could help our growth situation for these crops. It is called the Boneless Growth Shrine Upgrade, and it's pretty much, the name gives everything of it away. It can grow crops that don't accept bone meal, which is pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, all mystical agriculture crops. And this is actually not too hard to make. The biggest thing will be a pure crystal to get going, but everything else shouldn't be too crazy. So let's see if we can get that going. We do need a shrine upgrade core. We actually do need some swift alloys for. So I'm going to have to grab a few of those and get those together. We're also going to need some bone blocks, which are very, very easy to make. But I think everything else is pretty straightforward. We should be pretty much set. And it does utilize a water element. That's why I have it set up like so. So we have a new water element here being pulled into the container and then piped all the way up to another container that the shrine will sit on top of. It does also sound like it is raining outside. It is raining outside. So let me get these swift alloy ingots up and going, and then we can get our upgrade core. And then from there, we will actually get the shrine going. So with that being said, we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we have everything that we need here to get up and going our boneless growth shrine. So let's grab that bad boy just like so. And then what I am going to do is I am actually going to place it right underneath our water block up in our farm. So this block right here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to remove this. Water is going to flow in. But then what we are going to do, I believe, right? Does it not? I believe it places right on top. Okay, this is interesting because I'm pretty positive, right? And I believe it uses water to do so. Hang on, let's take a look here. What am I missing? I can't, like, place it at all. Okay, let's go up above. And let's see what we got going on up there. Yeah, for some reason, it will not place. All right, let me take a look at this. All right, guys, so I completely overlooked something here. This is an upgrade to the growth shrine. We need to get the growth shrine up and going on its own first. I'm sure all of you are probably clickety-clacking in the comments already. So that's what we need to do first. So it's pretty straightforward. All you need are some crystals, a water crystal, earth crystal, seeds, a bone meal, and a diamond on top of a water source, just like so. And you also need a base shrine to go with it. So we got our shrine up and going here. I'm going to move some of this stuff off our inventory. So the shrine is very easy to make. You just need some element pipes, inert crystal, and white rock. Very, very straightforward. So then it goes water, earth, seeds, bone meal. Okay, water, earth, seeds, bone meal, and then diamond. And it's actually really nice because they have updated elemental craft, so you know what order it needs to be placed in because it is a circular arrow. So we're gonna do it. That, and that should give us everything we need. We are getting our awesome little particle effects here, which is perfect. This needs to go back on once we are good to go. And just like so, we are all set. So I'm going to take off this binder. I'm going to place back on our extractor. And now we have a growth shrine. Now, I'm not 100% sure if we need to bump this down one or if we'll be okay putting it in from the top like so. Let's see. I think it's good. I think we're good to go. But I don't know how quickly it's bumping it up. Also, it would be nice to have this on it, which I think we have to have on it. So we might actually need to bump it down. All right, guys, so I got it set up here. I'm not 100% sure if it's really bumping us up that much. It's kind of hard to tell, I'm not going to lie. But we do have it. I had to bump it down one, like I said. And we have our growth shrine and then boneless growth shrine above it. Because obviously, these bad boys do not utilize bone meal. And I can show you that. So, take that away. Let's grab some bone meal here. Just like so. We got plenty of it. But if I come over... Oh. Yeah, like you can hit it on it, but it doesn't increase the actual... the overall growth of it. Like, you can use it, but it still grows slow. So, I don't know. I feel like this is a good step forward. I have a couple other ideas in mind of how we can even bump this production up even more. Obviously, we have our botany pots that we need to get up and going. So, one person did leave a comment on a previous episode about this, and yeah, the blue hopper ones, it definitely looks more like purple. So that's what we're going to go with for sure. But yeah, this is all pretty much set up for the time being. And once we get into those other things, obviously, I'll walk you guys through those other ideas that we got floating around in our head. So from there, you might be wondering, what are we doing next? Well, like I said, it's a jumbled episode here. So the next thing I want to do is something that I think was added in the most recent update because I don't recall seeing it before. And we need to come over to our refined storage area because that is what it deals with. We're going to hop down here. And that is the infinity range booster. So it sounds like this is a new addition that allows you to have infinite range on your wireless network, which if that is the case, that'd be awesome. It cuts back on the amount of these wireless transmitters we need to have going. And then we don't have to set up as many wireless ones like so all over, and we can access our setup from anywhere. Now, I don't know if it's cross-dimensional. We're going to test that and see what we got going on. But this isn't too bad to make, and we can craft up what we need from that. We should have everything, so that's our infinity range booster. You do need netherite for it. It's not an insane recipe, though, I will say. So, before we do this, let's go out here. Actually, no. It probably makes sense to do this first. We're still in range of one of them, so, and it's definitely not this one. Let's go downstairs. What we're going to do is we're going to throw this in here. Yeah, I'm pretty positive that's infinity right there. That is what? That's, millions, billions? Yeah, billions of blocks there. So, with that being our main one, what I am going to do is we're going to go to each of our locations here. We're going to actually nix off the wireless transmitter for each one and see how it works. It's pretty straightforward, so I'm going to guess this is how it works. But again, you got to test it. You can't just leave it as is and let that be. You have to test these things. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come over here. We're going to knock that bad boy off of there. We also have one over her that we can knock off. Just like so. Did that not even have any range boost in it? I don't think that had any range boost in it. Which is kind of funny. It explains why I always had so much trouble accessing it from the distance that we were. And then finally, we're going to come over to our bees area, which, guys, don't worry. We are going to continue on the bees. We've just kind of put them on farther down on the list currently. So But we have gotten rid of all of our wireless transmitters. The only other one left is over in our mine colonies area, which we will get shortly. But if all is correct in the world, we can still access our setup. So that is awesome. Definitely recommend getting that going in your gameplay if you have the resources for it. Honestly, like I said, it is not that expensive. The biggest thing will be the nether star, so obviously you have to fight a wither. And then also have netherite. But if you're fighting the wither, more than likely you already have netherite. So, and also take into consideration you can do the duplication for the netherite. So definitely do that if you are gathering it. We also have our mine colonies over here. We really do need to continue working and growing on this. In one of our next live streams, we'll probably be working a little bit more on our mine colony and progressing it a bit more, because we have really been slacking on it, just like the bees. We kind of have been slacking on our bees lately, but there's just so much stuff to do. So, and I want to keep it fresh. I don't want to just consolidate everything all at one time. I want to do different things, obviously. So with that being said, why don't we head to the other and let's see if we can still access it. So no, it is not cross-dimensional, unfortunately. Which is okay. It is what it is. I don't know if we could set up a transmitter here, though, and have it work that way, which would be pretty nice. We could test that really quick if we wanted to. Let's test it. All right, guys. So I went ahead. I took the receiver from over by our mine colonies, because the only reason it was there is to get to the wireless network. We didn't have like anything being pumped into our network from that location. So I just grabbed that one, and then I grabbed our network card, went to our other dimension, placed down the receiver, clicked our network card onto that block, and brought it back here, and it has linked to all the Modium, the other. So I have also gone ahead and created another infinity range booster here. We're going to head back to the other. You know what? We could probably get rid of our Cyclops here. And probably our ants as well. Yeah, we could get rid of that. So let's head back to the other here. And if we come up here... oh, we do need a... Oops, I already forgot. We do need to go back, and we need to get a wireless transmitter, because we do need one of those. All right, back to the other. So with this in hand, we throw that on there like so. We throw that in there like so. And no transmitter in range. Why is that? Is it just because we're cross-dimensional? Yeah, it's showing as not even being linked anymore. And you know what? Hang on, I just went back to the same exact side. Is it because we're not chunk loaded here? That could be the issue. Whoa, okay. What's going on here? Are we consuming a heck of a lot of power? Wow, okay, yeah. Usage, 32,000 FE is what we'd be using, because it's so far away in the other. I don't think it's worth it. It's cool, but I don't think it's worth it. So we're gonna grab it and head back to our refined storage system here. And we're just gonna put it away for the time being. And we do have a spare booster. It was worth the test. Wow, okay, it's still a lot. It actually still is a lot of power that does draw on. I believe, though, we are fine. And you know what? Why am I thinking this? We have a creative controller, so we have unlimited power. But for some reason... Oh, it's using 17,000, but it was being weird about it. I don't know why. It could have been because it wasn't chunk loaded here. But even when we were back here, it was being weird about it. Maybe both of them have to be chunk loaded? Let's test it out again one last time. All right, guys, so I did go ahead and chunk load not only here in the other, but I also chunk loaded back in our refined storage system. And we're still getting the same issue. It's almost like hiccuping for some reason. Because if you spam it enough times, you can catch it right at the precise moment that it does link up, and you can actually pull up the crafting grid. But other than that, doesn't really work. And then it does affect it on our main base side of things as well. It kind of glitches out. So I think we are just unfortunately going to have to let that be as is. Let's hop in here, hop to there, claim chunks, and we're going to unclaim that one. And we're going to head back to our refined storage system here, and we're going to do the same over here. We still want these ones, we just don't need them to be chunk loaded. That's the only thing with it. Yeah, and it works perfectly fine now, so I think it's just a weird thing with that specific one. So, but it is what it is. It was worth testing out. That is why we do these things. So, with that being said, we're moving on to our next random thing that we're going to get up and going, which is around our food production. So, there's two parts to this. The first part is I want to try to get up and going a market. Now, this is from Farming for Blockheads, which is the same thing that our fertilizer came from. And it should be pretty straightforward. The only thing we do need to have is some red wool, which can easily be accommodated. So we're going to get our market here. And then what we're going to do is head way over to our food processing building that we now have up and going so we can place this down. How's that guy doing? Just moving some stuff? Yeah. Just take some time to move items the way that we have it set up with that. So I do want to come in here and I want to get this guy set up. So I think tucked over in a corner would be our best bet. So why don't we tuck it right here? Now, if I remember, yep. Emerald Muncher. That's a classic name. Yeah, when you place this down, you do need to have a block behind it so that the merchant can actually spawn up behind it. But this offers you a way to get a bunch of different seeds, which is actually funny because I did not think about this when looking for tomato seeds. And we can actually get some tomato seeds for 1 emerald. But yeah, this guy trades emeralds for different things. You have different selections here on the side. You have seeds, saplings, and then other. So seeds are pretty straightforward. Let's get this filter off of here. So seeds, you can go through and trade emeralds for all the different seed types from like Pam's and normal Minecraft and so on and so forth. Saplings, they'll offer all the different kinds of saplings. You can actually get a palm sapling. That's actually very nice. You can also get different fruit saplings or fruit like tree saplings, like fruit tree saplings, I should say, which is pretty nice. And then the other is just bone meal. Okay, I was kind of curious if this still had mob eggs in it, but it does not look to be the case. So that is perfectly fine. This does offer us a way, though, to get some tomatoes up and going. So we are going to want some of our emeralds here. We have been collecting quite a few, and we're going to take a good amount here to get some tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes. So we're just going to get a whole entire thing of them. Now, this isn't like a normal like villager trader scenario where they like upgrade as you trade with them. It is just what it is right off the bat. So, but it'll be very useful. So what I want to do with this is actually come over here and switch one of our farms here, one half of our farm, to be tomatoes. Because I think it would be very useful to have our tomato plants going here. So we are going to shift these out. Now, the other cool thing that you can do with this is if we go into our backpack here, you have an exchanging gadget. I learned this. You can take this, and then what you do is if you expand out surface, right? Surface area, it can work for the whole area. But now these are all different levels, as you can see. Let's just do not connected surfaces. So I think this is gonna work. Let's bump it down a little bit. I don't know if we have enough seeds. That's gonna be the problem. Yeah, it looks like we won't have enough, but it'll be very, very close. So that did plant a good amount of our tomato seeds. So we're going to have kind of a mixed bag on this side of tomatoes. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to knock out all these wheat seeds here, so we know where the tomato seeds need to be planted. We can just come right over here and throw that in like so, and we're good to go. So look at that. We already have our first tomatoes grown here. So let's see how this setup works with it. It is taking its dandy time. We just produce so much output from this. Okay, there we go. And it did take those, and it should put them into the system. Yep, we did get some tomatoes, which is perfect. We're actually going to be using that for some ketchup. to help in the production of our bacon cheeseburger, which will be really cool. You can use a whole slew of different sauces with it, but hey, ketchup, can't go wrong with ketchup. Well, you can go wrong with ketchup. But anyway, so that is another tick off the list. Now, in the idea of making a bacon cheeseburger and prepping for it, there's something else we need to get. We either need pork chops or we need this tofu can, which is tofu, some syrup, and then soy sauce and stuff. Nah, we're not gonna do tofu. We're gonna do good old-fashioned pork chops. But we need to actually be able to easily get pork chops. So how are we gonna do that, you might be wondering? Well, we currently have a mob farm up and going, if you guys remember. And I just so happened to have gotten a pig spawn egg. Now, if you're wondering how I got this, it is from our sword. It does have capturing on it, which gives a good chance of actually getting a spawn egg from various mobs, including passive ones like pigs and cows and so on. So I was actually able to get a pig spawn egg. I don't think I was actually able to get a cow one, unfortunately. We're going to have to keep looking for that because we are going to need a cow egg. But I'm going to throw this into our mob farm because currently our mob farm is rocking blazes. And, well, if we take a look, we're pretty much set on blaze rods for quite some time. Probably the whole entirety of our playthrough will be perfectly fine with the blaze rods that we currently have. So what we're going to do is actually put pigs on there and see if it's going to work the same exact way. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a gajillion different ways to do this. We could set up a whole entire farm separately for this to be done in, and we might eventually do that. But for the time being, I figured why not utilize this setup that we already have. So all we got to do is come up this way. We're going to break through our little wall here. And then all we got to do is take our egg, and then we got to click it onto our spawner. Now we have a pig spawner. So obviously it's a passive mob, so it's not going to attack us. And I just want to make sure that this is going to work. I don't think they have to have light levels or anything like that. Yep, there we go. And unfortunately, it looks like, yeah, it looks like our pathway isn't big enough for all of them to get down. Or at least they're having a hard time. Yeah, they're having a hard time heading down there. So let me adjust it a little bit here. Oh, actually, no, they just all went down there. But they're spreading out, and that's the problem. We don't want that. So we want instant death on drop there. So let me tinker a little bit here to get this going right. All right, guys. So I have it modified here. I actually didn't have to modify like the way that they come down because they eventually make their way down. There's no big trouble with that. But I did modify this down here, and I know that there's been some comments on it in the past. It wasn't efficiently set up, and I will be the first to admit that I know that it wasn't efficiently set up. But I have adjusted it now, so it's a little bit more efficient. So we have hoppers underneath everything there. So no matter where an item drops, it'll be collected. We did bump the buffer diamond barrel down here, so it's a little bit more hidden. And then I went ahead and I switched out the gold, and I just put in this framed glass panes in here, so we could see what is going on the other side, and they cannot get out. But yeah, it's pretty much set up, so we can now get some good pork chops, which is awesome. And we're already collecting a whole heck of a lot of them, so I can only imagine how much we're going to get if we let this keep running for quite some time here. Now, it's easy enough to get another spawn egg. I mean, we have so many spawn eggs from so many different creatures that if we ever wanted to switch it out to be something different, we could. I mean, we have creepers, we have guardians, pirates, wither. We do have the Myrmex one, slime, skeleton, ghasts, enderman. Like, it goes on and on and on. And what we could even do is obviously go out and do some hunting, get some cows, because if we need to get this going, we also need some ground beef, which we're either going to need raw beef or raw toefik, which we obviously aren't going to do that. We're going to try to get some ground beef up and going. But I think that's kind of ticking all of the boxes on our random things that I wanted to get up and going in this episode. There's not really much more to do. The only other thing that I was thinking about working on is getting another builder going, or another crafter going, I should say, not a builder, an automated crafting setup for some of our wheat and stuff that we have coming in. But that's perfectly fine. We're already at time, and that's nothing special. You guys have seen me do it 1,000 times. So the other thing I do actually want to mention though, since I am mixing up words there, is with the builder. So I was planning on doing an episode. Let me take out the spider real quick because we're just going to hear him the whole entire freaking time I'm talking here. So I was planning on getting a setup going for Corey in the other. However, I did some testing in our test world for it, and it's not going to work. Unfortunately, it's just how it is. So pretty much what happens if you set up a builder or a Corey from the Corey mod, it will mine out anything that it can. So like netherrack, any of the gold and so forth that is in the normal world or in the nether. However, any of the other ores like iron or anything like that, it will not pick up. So at least from my testing, if you guys have had better luck, let me know and we could look into it even more. But I did spend a decent amount of time testing and it did not work out. So I'm thinking maybe what we'll do is do a little quick thing of getting maybe a quarry set up in our mining dimension or something along those lines, just so we could have one going, because I think it would be kind of cool to have a quarry going, especially with all the power production that we do have. But that's obviously for a future episode. I mean, a lot of things are for a future episode. Hopefully in the next one, we actually will be able to get some production going around food. We do need to find a cow egg though and get some more ground beef going, and actually probably set up another spawner. If we're going to do this, we probably should have 2 locations where we have the spawning going so that we could have it going, or we'll switch farms. Well, maybe we'll get into Industrial 4 going and set it up that way. But I'm rambling on now, throwing out ideas and different things. But I hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy this episode, feel free to leave a like down below. Helps me out so very much. If you are new here and you want to follow along and join in the community, definitely hit the subscribe button and bell notification. Obviously, lets you know whenever we post new episodes here on the channel. I do stream over on Twitch, so if you ever want to catch that, where we're playing this game save, actually, the link is in the description down below. We stream Mondays and Fridays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but sometimes that does change. If you want to stay up to date with when I actually go live or announce any of those changes, definitely join the Discord. It's linked in the description down below as well. We have a cool group of people hanging out over there, so just be respectful. And yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it so very much. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.